Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing about the DHCP, that is Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. We will see the simulation in the Cisco Packet Tracer, how we can configure DHCP in the router and how DHCP is automatically fetching the IP addresses and assigning it to PCs. So for this purpose, we will create a simple network where we will be having one router over here and the end devices. Here I'm taking two end devices, and for the other network I'm considering two different again devices. For this two devices I'm going to connect it with switch. Let me put 2960 switch here. Also I'm putting this. Okay, now if you know how to connect the cable to connect these different end devices, then that is fine. Go with the individual selection of this cable. That means if you have two same PCs or same end devices, then you can go with the copper crossover cable. Okay. Now suppose if you want to connect two different end devices, then you can go with the copper straight through cable. And suppose if you are not aware about which cable to choose, simply you can go with this first option, that is automatically choose connection type. So suppose I'm going to connect this to make it simple, and I'm going to connect this one from here to this port. Okay. Now select one more cable to connect this switch. Select one more time this PC to this switch. Okay. Again, I'm selecting this cable to connect this switch to router. One more cable to connect this switch to this router. Okay, because our aim is to understand the DHCP configuration, so I'm not going into the detail how to connect individually or manually these cables. For that, you can check our other practical session in which we have made usage of these cables individually. Fine. Now, here what we used to do is we used to assign IP addresses manually to this PC. But now we are not going to do that, because for that purpose we are using DHCP. So now check. Let's go to this router. Let us just make it active. Now we have selected these two interface with the gigabit Ethernet 0/0 and the other interface name is 0, that one. So I'm going to select this interface. I'm going to assign the IP address 192.168.1.1. Okay, and if you put the tab, it will automatically subnet mask will be selected, and I'm going to make this link activated, selected on. Now for the other interface, I'm using the IP address 192.168.2.1, and that if you press the tab, then it will create select automatically the subnet mask and make it activate. That is, select the port status on. Okay. Now this configuration is done for your routers interfaces. Okay. Now what we need to do, we need to configure the DHCP. Now go to the command line interface. In a command line, just enter. Now if you'll see, we are in the router config if. So we are in the interface mode. So exit from that mode, go to the router config mode. Okay. Now here you need to assign one command. We need to run one command, IP DHCP pull LAN 1. I mean, for this network, we are now configuring the DHCP. So IP DHCP pull LAN 1. Okay. If we'll put enter, there will not be any error or no any display message will be given. Now simply you are in a DHCP, we can say, mode. Okay. So you can now configure the DHCP. So I am assigning a network 192.168.1.0 with the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Okay, enter. Now here in this network, I'm going to put default router. In this default router, we need to put the hyphen sign. Sorry. Okay, default router address, I'm putting 192. Just 192.168.1.1. Okay. Now this we have configured, and now we just have to exit from this network. But now we have to mention that IP DHCP excluded address 192.168.1.1. Why we are doing this? Because now DHCP has been set for this first LAN, isn't it? But what we want is this address should be excluded because we have assigned this to our router, right? So if DHCP will be, whenever it is going to work, the very first, it is going to assign the address 1.1 if we will not exclude this address. So for that purpose, we are running this command to exclude this 1.1 address. So whatever the next addresses will be there, 1.2, 1.3, these addresses will be assigned to the PCs, whichever, what according to the requirement of our network. Okay, enter. That's it. Okay. Now we put for IP DHCP pull LAN 2 for another network 192.168.2.0 with the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. Okay. Default router 192.168.2.1. Fine. Now let us just exit from this mode and IP DHCP excluded address 192.168.2.1. Okay. Fine. Now this configuration has been done. Just close this PC. Now we will assign. Now go to PC0, go to desktop IP configuration. Previously, we used to assign the IP addresses manually over here by considering this static mode. But now we have configured DHCP. Simply, you just have to select DHCP. See, DHCP has assigned IP address 1.2 this PC with the subnet mask this, and the gateway is 1.1. Okay, just close this one. Go to this PC, go to desktop IP configuration, select DHCP. So it will automatically assigns IP addresses. Go to this PC, IP configuration, select DHCP. Now see 2.2. For this network, we have considered a network 2.1, 2.0, right? So this is what this has fetched the IP address from that LAN 2 pool. Okay. Now assign PC to the IP address to this also. Select DHCP. Okay, done. Now let me check whether it is working. Ping 192.168.1.3. Can you see this? The reply is come. Okay, now ping 192.168.1.1. Yes, it is working. Okay. So in this way, we can configure the DHCP. It will, like here are only, we have 4 pieces. So it is very easy to assign manually the IP addresses to these pieces, to select the subnet mask, to assign the gateways. But when we have a large network, when we have a lot of PCs to configure, then in that case, DHCP works very, to use DHCP will be very feasible. I hope you understood this concept. Thank you so much.